Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We're on session 5 of our FastAPI series. So far we worked with the get to fetch items and put to update them, but actually in this session we want to rounding out our FastAPI and adding post to create new items and delete to remove them. So it's the final place to make our app fully functional. So without wasting time, let's actually dive in. So let's begin with the foundation. So here, actually, I have created a file called section5.py, which right now, in this moment, it includes all the codes in the section 4. Actually, it's a copy of section 4 into the new file called section 5. Okay, so there's no different, and we want to expand it right now and adding some endpoints to make our API fully functional and implement the CRUD functionality that we want. So right now we just have get and put endpoints with different HTTP methods. The first one is get HTTP method for reading the items. The second one is put to updating an existing items inside our tiny pretended database called items. And right now we just want to create another endpoint to post or create new items inside our database. So how we can do that? Actually here, it's time to let the users to add new items. Okay, so we're going to create a post endpoint to take a string and append it to our list, which is our pretended database, and we want to pretend that it is an actual database. Okay, but it's not. It's just a simple in-memory list. Okay, so this is how we bring create into our CRUD API. So here's the code. Let's just code it. So here we have to create another endpoint with the post HTTP method. So let's give it a path, and here we just have to select items. No different with the get endpoint because they both have the same path, but the difference is in their HTTP method. The first endpoint is actually items, but the HTTP method of it is get. But the third one is actually items. Okay, there's no difference between them. But the third has another HTTP method, and we can just trigger it with post HTTP method. If we send get HTTP method to this URL, we just execute this endpoint because this just support the get HTTP method. But if we just explore the same endpoint but with the post HTTP method, we just trigger this endpoint because this endpoint just support the post HTTP method. Okay, so these are the big hidden difference that we have to understand. Okay, so right now let's create a function to be triggered, to be executed. It's better to say to be executed when we just explored this endpoint, and this function is going to add a new items or add or give an ability or an access to our users to add new items if they want. Okay, so let's create a function called actually add items, and inside that function, or add item, inside that function we have an item of type string, and actually there we have to just append using this function, using this Python function called append, and add the item from the request body that the user wants inside our tiny pretended database, the items database here. Okay, so right now we just have 3 default values: apple, banana, and orange. But there, when the user in the request body sends a new item to us, we have to append the user item inside our pretended database to make it clear. Okay, and after that we just have to return a message that says the item has been added to the list. Okay, so it's better to say added to pretended database. Awesome. So actually here, let's save the changes and restart our server, and let's go to the localhost. Actually, there it is. It's our FastAPI Swagger, which is created automatically. And here, if I'm going to refresh, I didn't see any changes here. So it's just get and put. Why we do not have the post here? Okay, because we're just running the we're still running the section full, so let's turn off our server and let's check it. So here, if I refresh our local host, okay, it's shutting down. And right now, if I just say UV core section 5 app -- reload and refresh my localhost, I can see, yeah, that we have the post endpoint that we have created so far, and we can explore it. So here, first of all, if I just go into the get endpoint and try it out and ask for the index 0 of my tiny pretended database, actually it gives me the apple, okay? And if I'm going to just give it an index of 1, it gives me the second item, which is our banana, and index 2 actually return an orange, which is our third item inside our pretended database, okay? So this is cool. But if right now I'm just going to ask about the index 3 or our fourth item inside our database, so we do not have a fourth item inside our tiny pretended database, okay? So we have to see, or we have to face an error, okay? So if I execute it, I face an error that says the index is out of range, okay? But right now, if I go to the post endpoint and just give it a new name, give it a new string, okay? For example, I just give it a test and execute it. Right now, you can see that item test has been added to the pretended database, okay? So it says that the item has been added successfully, okay? So let's see if it actually added to our pretended database. For that, I have just to get the items and give it the index number 3 for the fourth item. So if you see here, or just right now, if you see inside our pretended database, we just have 3 items. Apple with index 0. So let's give it the indexes. Sorry. The apple have index 0, banana index 2, and orange index 3. Okay, these are the default values inside our pretended database. But right now, if I just want to explore the third index, which is not exist, but inside our post endpoint, it returns us a successful message that says the test has been added to items. So if I'm going to explore or search for the items with index 3, I have to see test that added to our pretended database, okay? So if I execute it, right now we can see that it returns us an item with index number 3 that is test. Okay, so that is all about the post HTTP method and how we can let our users to add a new item as they want to our existing database and add their items to our existing item without replacing or updating any existing item. I think it's pretty cool, guys, doesn't it?